Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This video is going to be going over our little fishing that I did on Christmas Eve. It was above 65 and I thought it was the great opportunity to be able to get the kayak out on the water for the very first time. There's some things that I learned that I didn't like, things that I want to be able to move around and readjust, but that's just the learning curve for the first time taking this thing out. So Christmas Eve, I got a couple of ponds that my family owns that I was able to go out to. I brought my brother out, or both my brothers out, one of my nephews out with me, just to get out and have a little fun. So there's no a really good way to get the kayak to the pond except just to back up and try to drag it out of the back of the truck. Now this kayak has the one single wheel underneath, and was not good for me trying to get it to the water with an uneven ground. Even whenever I was on the water, I actually used the trolling motor to get to the pulled up to get to the second pond, try to drag that thing out of the water, and that thing was tipping back and forth, dragging. It was super awkward. So the first thing that I'm going to work on is trying to get some wheels, 2 wheels put on this thing that I'm probably going to try to make myself to save a little bit of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to go through some things that I learned while I was doing it, things that I want to change, and things that I was happy about. So hold on. Christmas Eve, it was super warm outside, so I decided to call my brothers up and see if they wanted to go fishing. And it was going to give me the opportunity to take this kayak out for the very first time. With the ponds, I had to pull this kayak out of the back of the truck, which I didn't use the bed extender, didn't think I needed it, and didn't have no issues with it bouncing around in the back of the truck. They with that wheel on the single wheel on the back of the kayak makes it very tipsy. It's not very stable. So the first thing that I am going to try to do is I'm going to try to make wheels for the kayak, and I will hopefully bring some video of me doing that before I try to buy some. So we get the kayak out on the water. I didn't load anything up in it. I just wanted to take it out for the first test spin. So I didn't have a camera, I didn't have anything to record my first journey out because, number one, I don't have a waterproof case on my phone and I haven't quite got a GoPro yet. So I left everything in the truck, took it out for the first spin. It did very, very well. The switches that I mounted with the new wiring system didn't have any issues with it. With the trolling motor, the steering with the cables on the foot, that was a little bit getting used to. The cables are not quite have the right tension on it, so you push one side and you really have to push it hard on the foot pedal to get it to move. The other one was probably too loose, so you just barely touch it and all of a sudden you're hanging a hard left or a hard right. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments on the cables itself, but besides that, I was able to maneuver it around. I did use the hand paddle, going around just to make sure that I was going to be nice and stable, help turn the kayak whenever the cables wouldn't turn the trolling motor in the back very well. The first thing that I realized whenever I got it out was that the seat was too high. So I had it completely extended up as high as it possibly could, just because I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna be able to stand up on this thing, be a little higher on it. The problem with that is if you're trying to reach like your paddles or this power pole, the homemade power pole here, leaning it over trying to grab something, I felt like I was going to tip it over. So next time I take it out, I want to make sure I'm going to lower this thing down a little bit to make sure, lower the seat down to make sure that I'm more stable and I can reach the things to the side, because I was trying to grab a limb to attach a rope to where I could just tie off on it and do some fishing. But whenever I was reaching over there trying to get it and wrap the cord around the tree, it felt sketchy to me. Probably because I was setting up too high. So I'm hoping that me lowering the seat down is going to fix that issue. So with that being said, we will start going through some other things that I noticed that I needed to make adjustments with, and we'll go from there. The second thing that I noticed that it's an easy fix. I've already fixed it. Was whenever I built this little box for the Fishfinder, whenever I moved it from the center console to over here, I left the PVC pipe just loose right here. I left it loose where you can move it and all that stuff. Well, the problem with that was whenever I was using the trolling motor, that this thing would just bend up the entire time, so you couldn't see the fish, or you couldn't see, you know, the accurate depth. So the first thing that I did whenever I got back was I just put some super glue around here to keep it more of a ridge. I still got wet super glue underneath there to keep it more rigid and stiff whenever I'm using it. Second thing with that thing, with the other thing was with the seat being so high, I was trying to get the paddle out, and just note to self, next time get the paddle out, set it in here before, or set it over here on the side or something where you don't have to mess with the transducer or anything like that, because I actually had to go back against the bank and physically get out and move this around where I could use it. So that was a quick uh-oh whenever I first started getting out there. Alright guys, so now we're in the back of the kayak. Some things that I learned while I was out there. Number one, the cable that I have here that goes up to the front to pull the trolling motor up and out of the way, super awkward. Like you're pulling on it and you don't, and it's very, very tough. So I don't know if I need to raise the trolling motor up to get it a little bit more top heavy for it to lay over whenever I'm pulling on it, or what. And I probably need to raise it up anyway, because it felt like it was pretty far into the water, and as I was coming up to a bank, I was having to worry about this thing getting caught up while I was with the trolling motor. So that's going to have to make some adjustments with it. The other adjustment that I'm going to have to make, or change that I'm going to have to make, in my previous video, you noticed that my little homemade kayak, or the homemade power pole, mounts right here. The first pond that when I got out, the first pond I went to, I didn't use this for a power pole. What I actually did is, where the power pole has that has the power pole has where it's mounted. It's got this bungee right here. So what I ended up doing was taking the bungee off, running the pole through the bungee to keep me in one spot, because I was in the middle of the water and I didn't hook this power pole up to the cabling system so I could use it while I was fishing on the first pond. So, which this worked great, but I was worried that the bungee was going to snap off, because I mean the wind was blowing pretty decent. So not using the bungee cord, I thought for the second pond was going to be a better deal. So the problem with the with the power pole being in the back is I could not reach the power pole from setting, which the seat was all the way up high, as high as it'd go. So the power poles, I got it all rigged up, had the power pole sitting here, had all the cables run, the power pole sitting here, ready to go, but I could not reach it to get this thing, because you have to manually drive it into the ground for this thing to hold you. So, and plus this thing was 10-foot long pole or PVC pipe. So I'm on the second pond. I'm going back into the creek where this pond is fed from, and it has a bunch of trees and all that stuff over here. So I was literally getting snagged up with this PVC pipe while I was trying to get back to where I wanted to actually fish. So, and I didn't have the time to get this thing out of the way whenever I was, because I didn't even try to stand up in this thing, because I was super afraid of this thing want to get it tip me over. So what I've decided, that I'm going to move the power pole system without the cables or anything like that. I'm going to move it closer to the seat so I can just use the power pole when I want, and when I get done with it, I can move it, put it back onto the bungee where it's stowed away right now. So in the future, I'm hoping to be able to move this up to the railing system that is already up there to mount this bad boy on. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll bring some video of me doing that. One thing about the wheel, I was trying to move the kayak from one pond to the other pond, and with all my gear on here, it was super tipsy. Like, I actually had to have my brother grab hold of one end of it and help me drag it up there to it. Super awkward. That's what it was. It was just awkward. It wasn't necessarily heavy. It was awkward. After being on the ponds for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, I literally felt like I was on a major workout, just because I was trying to learn things, do things a certain way. I did more work trying to adjust and get this thing, learn something about it, than I actually did fishing, which I did catch a fish. So we didn't lay a goose egg on the fishing trip. I'm hoping in the future I'll be able to get a GoPro, get a waterproof case for the phone, get it mounted up here where y'all can see me fishing. The crate, so all I have for tackle right now is literally in this bag right here. That's all I have. And so I literally took everything I had out of my bag and put it at the feet of me under the seat to go fishing. I didn't even use this crate. Didn't even use it. The rod holders were right here. Super easy to grab. I was right there, not much movement to get to my poles. So the poles up front, I may not even use them anymore. I don't know. I only own three poles, and I got 4 holders right here on the back, and we'll see how it goes. So that's about all that I've learned on this thing. I wish it was a little bit more stable for a big guy like myself, me personally. Hopefully setting the seat down a little lower, drops me down where it'll be a little bit more stable whenever I'm trying to fish or trying to reach over and grab something. I was pretty happy though with how it maneuvered around. My little brother jumped in it whenever I was at the end of the day, and he took it around for a spin, which he's a lot smaller than I am, and he's like, boy, that's nice, so, but I felt like I had a workout. Just for crawling out of the kayak, back into the kayak, trying to get, changing things, trying to fish, and you're like, oh, well, I need to change that. So you get next to the shore, and you jump out, trying to make adjustments. So yeah, that's my first trip. So there's already some changes that I want to make. The wiring system that I put in place after I bought it had no issues with it. Battery lasted for at least three hours, no problems. So that's about it for my first trip. You will see a video, which is not a very good video, of me strolling by, headed from the pond into the creek that feeds that pond, just to see how it is. I did ask my brother when I was driving by, I was like, hey bud, can you try to give me a video of me doing this, just so I had something to show you guys. So if you have ideas, have different suggestions on what I can do with this thing, maybe make it a little bit more stable, please put them in the comments section. I appreciate you watching the channel. It does. I know it's just something that I like doing, something new. So we'll see how long this lasts. I do appreciate y'all helping me out. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. If you have ideas, leave them in the comment section. Be happy to try them. I do have exciting news that I will be getting my first mystery tackle box delivered for the first time. So I'm gonna have a video of me opening up the first box. So anyway, that's about it for 2019. I can't believe it's going to be 2020 so soon. Videos are going to slow down a little bit because first full week of January, I'm having foot surgery, so I'm going to be laid up for a couple of months. Not going to be able to do much fishing. Try to get this foot all healed up before baseball and softball season starts, because that's really my truly passion, is coaching those kids, watching them enjoy out on the field. Watching them grow, watching them learn a new skill. So hopefully we get some new videos as my foot heals up and be able to get out there on the water. It may not even be in the kayak. Maybe we can jump in a boat, go do some fishing. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. God bless.